Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick Blu-ray update. This is probably everything I've gotten like the last month for sure. Well, actually probably 2 months. Most of November, December. I might have left a few out, but for the most part this is about everything I've gotten. I'll just do those first, then I'll do a DVD update in a separate video. This first video I got, I'll try not to get any glares, is Labyrinth. It's one of my favorite movies when I was a kid growing up. Really thought that this was like one of those movies that kind of wear out on me over time, but somehow it hasn't. It just keeps going, and I still enjoy it. This particular transfer isn't that bad. I actually was really afraid the transfer would be bad, but it's actually really good. It's nice to see this in a good wide screen format, because I think the DVD I had didn't have a very good transfer on it, but this is actually better. Not great, but you know, better than what some of the stuff that's coming out now. But yeah, that's that. The next one I got, these were some of the older ones I got like right around Halloween, right afterwards, somewhere in there. Drag Me to Hell. I really like this. I think that I was expecting, you know, something like this from Sam Raimi, but still, you know, I thought it was really good. If you're a Sam Raimi fan, you know, like his horror movies like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, that kind of Sam Raimi, not necessarily Spider-Man Sam Raimi. But if you're a fan of stuff like that, this is definitely something you should pick up. I think it's interesting. It's got its own dark, you know, sense of humor that he can add to a movie like this. Very good, very good. Oh, you have to excuse me, man. Okay. This is another one that probably is a common one that a lot of people are showing, Trick or Treat. Probably not much I can say that you haven't already heard on this. If you like anthology horror DVDs, Blu-rays, things like that, like Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, Creep Show 1 and 2, those kind of things. This is kind of like a throwback to something similar to that. Just something that kind of seems out of its own time. This isn't probably anything like you've seen recently, but a lot like what you would have seen back in those days. But still, I liked it. It's got its own oddball, you know, kind of feel to it. I don't know how to describe it. It just, it's one of those movies that I think is really good to watch on Halloween. I think it'll be like kind of one of those nostalgic Halloween type movies, not necessarily a great horror movie, but you know what I mean. This next one, G.I. Joe. Yeah, The Rise of Cobra. Honestly, I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe, the cartoon series, the one from back in the 80s. When I was a kid, I really loved it. I like all the characters and, you know, their backstories. There was something about this that I just didn't quite get into. Maybe I need to give it another chance, or maybe it was just a little bit much to see all that, you know, CGI. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of CGI, but I know movies like this can't be done in practical effects. I mean, you know, this is going to be like Transformers or something else. It's a big, big budget CGI kind of movie. I don't know. I was just kind of so-so on this. I think my expectations were a little high. But if you're a fan of the original show, I would say this is probably something you want to put in your Netflix queue before you decide to invest in it. But if you are a fan of the old show, you've probably already given this a chance, so I'm not telling you much there. This next one here, this feels a lot like G.I. Joe. I had high expectations for this as well, hoping that this would be finally the Terminator War movie that we've been waiting for since the 80s, you know, that hasn't really been here yet. The one where you actually see, you know, the battles that they keep mentioning and alluding to and showing small scenes and tidbits of. It was okay, and kind of like that one, I think there was a little bit more CGI than I would have preferred. I mean, I don't know, you know, anybody that's going to be putting out big budget practical effect movies, you know, practical effects movies nowadays, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I think there's some cool elements in here, and I don't know, Christian Bale was so-so, you know. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It didn't really, you know, win me over. Okay, now we'll start getting into some of the movies that I really did like. The new Star Trek is excellent. I didn't see this at the movie theaters. Everybody that I know told me to go see this in movie theaters, didn't get a chance. So I waited for it to be on Blu-ray. Loved it. I thought it was really excellent. I'm a Star Trek fan anyway, you know, not a hardcore one. I haven't seen everything, but um, there's enough here for everybody. I think this is one of those things. You can be a casual fan, you can be a hardcore fan. It's there. You know, every part of it is appealing to somebody. But all in all, I really hope that this restart of the franchise, you know, every movie does as well as this one. There's the old curse that everybody talks about from the original movies, where it's the every other movie factor or whatever, where the, you know, people like the second one, the fourth one, whatever. You know, I don't know how that formula works, but there was a lot of people that weren't too satisfied with some of their choices. But I think with J.J. Abrams on board, I hope he stays on board for future Star Treks, you know, like I'm sure he is already for the second one or whatever, but if they keep making them on and on and on, I hope he has, like, you know, a part on it, because I think that he can do more for this franchise than just handing it off to somebody, you know, further down the line. And hopefully the actors will stick with us too, and we can keep the originals, you know, Spock and Kirk and everything that appear in this future Star Trek movies. This is one that I watched that I really liked too. I thought Johnny Depp was excellent in this, and Christian Bale was actually pretty good in this, but he's kind of overshadowed. If you like gangster movies, like older gangster movies, I don't know, like The Untouchables and things like that, this has got a similar feel to it. Excellent movie. It's got a pretty good storyline. I don't know, it's just one of those movies that's set and dressed just perfectly for what you would expect for this kind of movie set in this kind of time. And if you like any of the actors in this, you like these kind of stories, like you like gangster movies, crime, you know, that kind of stuff, this is actually a really good movie. You should give it a chance. I'm going to try to speed through a lot of these so I can get everything in one video. This I just saw recently. This is District 9, the last movie, Public Enemies. Sorry, I'm going really fast. District 9. This is one that was Peter Jackson presents, meaning, you know, that he went on in the production of the movie, like from that role, not as a director or writer or whatever. But District 9 is actually a pretty good movie. I heard some good things about it, didn't know what to expect. It's not your typical science fiction movie. It's kind of like one of those docudrama or mockumentaries, or however you want to call those movies that appeal to people that like things like Blair Witch Project. Cloverfield was kind of like one of those. It just has that, it has the perspective of the person, you know, or you're showing archival footage, you're showing news footage. It looks like one of those movies that is very real, you know, but obviously it's not. But yeah, you know what I mean. If you're into those kind of movies like that, the shaky camera kind of stuff, it's actually really good. And I think that the story is probably more interesting for a sci-fi movie than I've seen in a long time, as far as it's got an odd feeling to it. If you see it, you'll know what I mean. But throughout this movie, you kind of are torn between who do you feel sorry for, who is the victim, you know, what is the threat, that kind of thing. It's very good. I don't know what else to say about it. It's very hard to describe, actually. But if you like science fiction movies and you want to see something that's a little different, this is the first movie I've seen in a long time that's really good, and it's really different from what I've kind of been seeing recently.